وقف الطفل وحده والليالي ورصاص من حوله وجنود. وقف الطفل والحجارة أكوام وعيناه عزمة وصمود. وعيناه عزمة وصمود.
Image out of my heart when we've seen the bodies found in a mountain of parts. Netanyahu told you just another child of the dark. Clear it's gonna take much more than thousands to march, more than a speech, more than a poem, more than a track of music. Gonna take more than a sit down with Bassem Youssef. Even bringing back ambassadors isn't Atlas useless long as you pump oil for Apaches and the tanks they using. Freedom just beyond reach for people you cannot see. He's wheezing and cannot breathe and screaming through the concrete, looking for his 4 children. The bombs leave structures that I wouldn't want to call buildings. My fingers pointed at this government, you all killed them. Tell me that you wouldn't take up arms if those were your children. Let me make the factor clear, those bombs were manufactured here and they want the land as theirs because of natural gas in there. Feel death in the atmosphere while we hapless stand and stare. And a little boy begs for his brother's strand of hair. Truth is I don't know how anyone can live after digging for their dead kids buried under bricks. Israel is a terror state, terrorists that terrorize. I testify my television, televise, I'm telling lies. This is not a war, it is systematic genocide. But whatever they try, Palestine will never die. They're not prepared to face the pain, so they're scared to say your name. They're not prepared to face the pain, so they're scared to say your name. They're not prepared to face the pain, so they're scared to say your name. They're not prepared to face the pain, so they're scared to say your name.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, free, 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 free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, free, 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 free.
They bomb churches and paramedics, it's hurting, the panic spreading. Hospitals where the doctors do C-sections, no anesthetics. The pressure is manifesting, humanity stands connected. Masses seem apathetic and actually just accept it. When our grandchildren ask us, what did we do to stop it? I'm determined to say I did more than make music on it. It's why we shut down arms factories. You can try stopping us. Palestine action's the opposite of white phosphorus. We tell them on the television, but they never listen. Tell Piers Morgan that resistance isn't terrorism. They want them fled or missing, death or prison, endless killing. I seen a father hold his baby up, the head was missing. Imagine demolition of home where your parents live in. Kings won't say a thing, but at least we know that Yemen's with them. Ethnic cleansing, it ain't hard to see the stages, but Gaza, Al-Azza, graveyard of the invaders. Ears close to the savagery, clear though when there's clarity. The journalists and doctors are heroes of humanity. As sordid and as gory as this story is for now, are they depopulating Gaza for Ben Gurion's canal? Israel is a terror state, terrorists that terrorize. I testify my television, televise, I'm telling lies. This is not a war, it is systematic genocide. But whatever they try, Palestine will never die.
Palestine will be free. From the river
لن نستسلم ولن نرحل من هذه الأرض، بل سنتقدم إلى أرضنا، إلى بلادنا، إلى فلسطين.
Thank you, everyone, for joining our February community call for the Chartres Academy. As each month for the past nearly 20 years, we've been meeting to consecrate ourselves in the expectation of our next pilgrimage, which this year will be to Teotihuacán during the week of the solstice between June 18th and the 23rd. And we want to begin our program not with Teotihuacán, but with Gaza. And so we played the video that you just witnessed. And I wanted to just say a few words about this, because what we're now witnessing is that Israel is on the verge of the final solution to Palestine. Over the last 4 months, Israel has been carpet bombing Gaza from north to south. Gaza, as you may know, is very small. It's only about 5 miles wide, about 25 miles long. And Israel has been basically destroying every aspect of human infrastructure until over the last month or two, 2/3 of the Palestinians, 2/3 of the 2.3 million Palestinians who've been fleeing their homes have massed now in southern Gaza, right north of the Egyptian border. And they're all concentrated on this small city of Rafah, which is normally about 200,000 people. Gaza is one of the most densely populated countries, not countries, it should be a country, one of the most densely populated areas in the whole world. It's been a concentration camp since 2007. People are not allowed to go out or to go in except with special permission by the Israeli military. 50% of the entire population are under 20 years old. 2/3 of the people that have been killed, 100,000 people who've been killed or injured over the last 4 months have been women and children. There have been more women and children killed in the last 4 months per capita than in any conflict in modern history. There are more people in acute hunger and starvation in Gaza today than in any area in the entire world in recent times. The Israeli government has been orchestrating clearly a policy of genocide, as the Israelis now do to the Palestinians what the Germans did to the Jews 100 years ago in the 1920s and the 1930s, with the same tactics, with the same rhetoric, and with the same goal: the elimination of Palestine. And now, as we speak, 1.5 million Palestinians are massed in Rafah. They're in tents. They have no water. They have almost no food. Children are starving. People are starving. The hospitals have no anesthesia. Operations on children and women and the elderly are happening without any painkiller. And Netanyahu has stated today that the mass evacuation of those Palestinians and the complete destruction of Rafah is about ready to begin. This is the final solution. This is Auschwitz for the Palestinians. And we need to bear witness. We need to stand with Palestine, just like people of conscience stood with the Jews under the onslaught of Nazism. So we want to take a stand on the Chartres Academy, on behalf of Ubiquity University, Humanity Rising, and everything with which I have any participation. What is happening is a stain against the house of Israel. It is a stain against the house of America. All the bombs, all the bullets, all the white phosphorus that is being used against human life says made in USA. Joe Biden is the willing executioner of Netanyahu. And we all know that. And somehow, from somewhere, somebody or a group needs to emerge that will stop this carnage. And I hope that all of you will look at the news over the next couple of days. Don't look away. We all have to look at what's happening in Gaza, even if it means looking right into the sun. Because what's happening in Gaza is a trans-historical crime. Trans-historical crime. This is of the magnitude of the crucifixion of Jesus 2,000 years ago. This is an event that if we allow to happen, will change history. I'm speaking about this every day on Humanity Rising, and I would encourage all of you to tune in so that we can together share our grief. Because grief, when shared, becomes a sacrament, an art form of solidarity. And my final comment today is when we talk about from the river to the sea, we're not talking about the displacement of Israel or the Jews. We're talking about a place where everybody can feel at home. There is no reason for Israel to be eliminating Palestinians, because Israel and Palestine are both Semites. So in addition to genocide, what the Israelis are committing is fratricide. And as David Ben-Gurion said, the first leader of Israel back in 1947, 48, when Israel went to war the first time and expelled 750,000 Palestinians so Israel could consolidate the land, he said, the irony is, most of these people are Jews. The Palestinians have Jewish blood because they're the native inhabitants, the indigenous peoples that have been there all along. When the Jews went for their diaspora and 2,000 years ago, not all of them left. Most of them stayed. Only the elites left. And that deepens the tragedy that is unfolding. There is no reason why from the river to the sea can't include the Jews and the Palestinians in a unitary state. That's the mark of civility. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for bearing witness, and thank you for your participation today. I would like to now welcome my good friend and colleague, Banafsheh Sayad, who will be making comments on our theme for today, which is really on the weekend of Chinese New Year, to talk about the Year of the Dragon coming up. So thank you, Banafsheh. I turn the program over to you.
Thank you, Jim. Hello, everyone. Let us hold the possibility of peace from the river to the sea. Let us pray and together expand that possibility. I want to thank you, Jim, for speaking the truth of what is happening, showing us and sharing with us the history. And I don't want the people listening to feel paralyzed. We have power, but we really need to listen to what is exactly happening and not turn away from it. But we have the power to expand what we believe in, the love, the goodness, and the possibility of peace from the river to the sea, the possibility of the Palestinians and the Israelis living together in peace. I, for one, will not give up on that, even in the face of the tragedy, even as my heart breaks, witnessing what is happening there. And I want to now turn to our theme today, the Year of the Wood Dragon that has already started, and the potential, the great potential. We will hear from Anastacia White about the nature of this year and what it brings for us, what the opportunity is for us. What do we expand? Because the energy of the dragon is expansive. What do we dedicate ourselves to serving and expanding and making more of? Anastacia White is one of the matriarchal wisdom keepers of the Chinese sciences. Her presentations come from over 30 years of research and practice in the medicine, mantic arts, history, and cosmology of China. She does pole star astrology readings that I recommend very much, and we will share a link in the chat to get in touch with Anastacia if you wish. Anastacia, I turn this over to you. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. Wow, that I was so incredibly moved with the video that I really thought to myself, wow, how are you going to talk after this? Thank you for that. Thank you for moving me. So the Year of the Wood Dragon. I have a screen that I can share with you. Let me just. bring that up. Where is that little piece that I just had? I'm sorry for the delay, guys. Doesn't seem to come up on my Zoom screen though. Not sure why that is.
Are you unable to find screen share?
I know I've got my, it's asking me what do you want to share, but what I want to share is not coming up on the screen. That's
Maybe you closed it inadvertently. If you open it, it should appear
Yeah.
on your desktop.
Yeah, I know it does. It is on my desktop, but why it doesn't, and I opened it up and here it is. And let me close share and see if I can open share again and then. Oh yes, perfect. I do want to share that with you. There we go. Are you seeing it?
Yes.
And is it where we want to see it? So you'll just tell me if you need me to scroll up on it. So we're looking at a young wood dragon. And in one aspect or one school of astrology called the four pillars, when we do the four pillars for this year, the pillars that this year stands on are four yang pillars, and the pillars are the year, the month, the day, and the hour of the new year. And they're all of there's 3 yang wood and 1 yang fire. They're the animals of the year of the dragon, the month of the tiger, the day of the dragon, and the hour of the rat. And they're all yang within their yang cycles. So what that's saying is that this year will be full of is based on yang energy, is based on movement and bigness and transformation. It's the dragon in Chinese cosmology and astrology is it's an animal, and here's a very lovely image of the dragon that a good friend of mine, Anna, painted. The dragon is a composite animal, much different than the animals of the Chinese astrology that we know, that we see, that we observe, that are the common animals that we live around. The dragon is the mystical animal of the Chinese astrology. And it's associated with the emperor. It's associated with this supernatural power. And all I could think of when we were seeing the video and listening to Jim and Banafsheh speak about Palestine, I just thought, oh my gosh, let this energy, let us all invoke this energy of the yang wood dragon into this supernatural power and wisdom and strength to really change what is happening in Palestine in particular, for me. I mean, everywhere in the world, but it's so it's so there. It's so marking the place of humanity, marking where we can make a change. We can change this. And the dragon says, you can. You are backed. You are riding my energy of wisdom, strength, and hidden knowledge. This is what the wood is about. The wood is about the springtime. It's about the color green. It's about things that are new, things that are fresh. The beginning, it's birth and childhood when we look at that cycle, when we put it with a human life. And what it is it's the potential. What the wood dragon represents is this immense and dynamic and creative potential to do new, to create new, to have new ideas, to have new alliances, to bring forth an energy of, I want to say allies. I want to emphasize the word allies, because if we associate this to an energy, the energy is like young. There's an innocence. This is, the Chinese call this, the wood dragon, the laughing dragon, because it has to do with childhood, with innocence, with the newness of life. What is it if we could wake up every morning with a possibility, with not really even knowing really what was going to happen that day, but letting come forth the possibility of maybe what we dreamed of, the possibility of this, the possibility, not even the possibility, almost, it's the ideas will come forth and bring this new wave of being human. And the dragon year is ushering in the Chinese astrology a 20-year cycle. We're also in a 9 in the feng shui, which is kind of an ending, beginning of a new cycle. It's really very exciting in some ways. The Chinese dragons are said to control the elements. They sleep in the caves of frozen waters. And they say in the springtime, when the thunder, or when you hear the ice cracking, I hope we've all heard the ice cracking of spring. This is when the dragons are stirring in their underwater caves, and they're going to ascend to the skies to create especially the wood element, the water, rain, thunder, but all of the elements. That's why I talk about this year with lots of big earth changes. It's everything that we do is going to be big this year. If I can instill one thing to remember about the year, that what you say, what you do, what you put your energy on, you're riding the dragon, and it's going to be big. For me, riding the dragon, the biggest, being a dragon as well, a water dragon I am, what it gives is it gives the view from the sky. What the dragon, we say when we talk about self-cultivation and what our animal character is bringing to ourselves and to humanity, the dragon is responsible for viewing the big view. And it's the only animal that really can do that. It's the only animal that can fly. So it has a perspective. This is what gives it the connection to the emperor in Chinese history, and associated with the mandate of heaven, as the emperor is the mandate of heaven. So having this big picture perspective, for me, it really what I've really seen and experienced in my life is the being, the sentient being of the earth, of the mother that we live on. And I really feel like we can all really see that this year. We can all really feel that this year. And that will come along with the big earth changes. It will come along with things that we don't know, because we really don't know the dragon. It isn't like we can observe it like the pig or the dog or the other animals. It has a magic that we don't know. What we want to do is within us, we want to guide this, think about guiding this flying wood young dragon into this, using our wisdom and into these places of newness and innovation with the wisdom of the dragon, seeing the big perspective. Just really, I think, understanding where we are, how we've been incarnated to be here right now and to witness what's happening in humanity, what's happening to the earth itself, and seeing the arc. I mean, you can see it. You can see it by these conversations that we're having. You can see it by being part of this this Zoom this morning. That we are seeing it. We're seeing the arc. We're seeing the arc of yang moving down, and the cupping and caring and giving and recognizing life of the yin coming up. We're seeing the movement of this. And we're seeing it, it's demonstrated in this wood dragon year with the birth, the newness, the innovation, the laughter, the togetherness that children want to be. I mean, you see a child walking down the street, that child sees another child, it's like, oh, it's my people. They just want to come together. And this is the energy, this is the chi that's available for all of us. My life is very much revolves around and is dedicated to self-cultivation. It is my responsibility as a dragon, and our responsibility as riding the dragon chi this year, to consider what is your mandate of heaven. Where is it? From where is your source of inspiration and divinity? And I have witnessed in my life, and I experience in my life, the many already innovative and new templates that we have of self-cultivation that come from old wisdom, and then absorbed and let out again in a new creation, of a template of a new philosophy, or a more modernized philosophy, of ways to self-cultivate, of how we can know ourselves, how we can embrace ourselves, so that we might embrace all of humanity, that we might not be afraid to share this heart that so wants to love, to feel love, to be open and be melted in divine love. And that's really available to us in so many ways, and becomes more and more with the examples of the medicine the psychedelic entheogenic medicines that are being used, of changing people's minds, of opening people's hearts. Everywhere you look, there's the possibility of self-cultivation. This year, it's really suggested that we be very generous, very generous, to act with creative generosity of the heart. And this is again something very dragony. Because of the energy of the dragon, because of the bigness of the dragon, it means that the generosity must meet that bigness. And that will be really available to us. You'll see how this is a magic. It's a magic year. Yeah. If you like magic, if you want to create magic, if you want to believe in magic, here it is. Here's the year. So, they say, the industries of what you do, the kind of how to move in society and culture, so that what the industries of science, art, technologies are going to get really big. And we kind of already know that, but the dragon is emphasizing that and confirming that for us. The finances, they say, will be very big this year because of the dragon is big. And that there's suggestions for really investing in new sustainable energies. It's what is new, what is what aligns with this, our deep need to for newness from the ground up. Yeah, for a new way of looking at the planet that we live on, a new way of feeling that she's alive, that she's intelligent, that she wants to nurture us. We are her children. And new ways of humanity, of resources that she's given us. We can't do that without opening our hearts. We can't. What's happening in the world now is breaking the heart that's opening. These are the territories that allow the magic of the dragon to manifest. Yeah? To demonstrate, for the dragon to demonstrate itself through us, through the chi that's available to everybody. I talked about the earth changes. I really think that this could very well be the year that the star people really come, they're there. They're there for everybody. They come in a way, or they present themselves in a way. It's obvious to me, and it's obvious to many, that they present themselves in many ways. I have no idea how they're connected. Sometimes I think they're connected through the plant medicines. I certainly feel they're connected through the self-cultivation and these ideas of these old, deep spiritual wisdoms from the past coming forward into people, and those people creating these new ideas and ways of bringing it out to humanity, helping us again for our own personal self-cultivation, so we can do and create and begin this new cycle that wants to be born. I don't know am I anywhere near the end of this now? Are we winding up?
You have more time if you wish.
Okay. And I've got a little bit more to say.
Yes, please.
I think that it's really important in Chinese medicine and in Chinese thought is to look at the yin and the yang. There's never, we don't land anywhere. There's no landing, there's movement. Yeah. And it's this continual movement of these two energies called yin and yang. Hold them and they move into each other. They just continue this revolution of movement. And when we look at that, when we look at wood, we are looking at something young, something unformed. And we say in Chinese medicine that the association to the wood element is the liver and the gallbladder. And the emotions that are then associated with the liver and gallbladder or ruled by the liver and gallbladder are anger, frustration. Those are the other sides of this newness, of laughing, of creating, is this stagnancy, this frustration, and then that builds into an anger and a malice. And really from the wood energy, from this kind of bursting of yang that happens in the spring, we can get some of the most horrible malice between human beings. And I think that we're going to continue to see that with what is happening in the world, where powerful men and women, but sadly, mostly men, or not sadly, I don't know, are making these deadly decisions that have been heartbreakingly and beautifully sung and said earlier in our Zoom with Palestine. We will see that energy, and remember that energy, that wood energy, that is in every human being. What I would say is like that all of these adolescent yang behaviors by the powerful men in the world right now, what would I do with them? I mean, when I go into my anger and malice, I just like, line them up and shoot them. That's one part. That's one side of it. The other side of it is I was just thinking, put them, put them someplace where all they could do was create. All they could do was, do art or something, whatever they were interested in, aside from this powerful thing that they think that they're doing in terms of devastating the world. Colors. I mean, this is adolescent yang that gets demonstrated here. These are somehow men that are still undeveloped. And that's why I say, take your wisdom. Ride. This is, I don't know this inside, outside, Here we have these men destroying the world. That is somehow a reflection of the part of me that is destroying the world. The part of me that's destroying me. This is where the self-cultivation comes in. So it's a really good year to create really what is in our hearts. How do we want to go forward? What do we want to bring new in our lives? Where do we want to find our alliances? Because if we don't follow, if we don't use this chi that's all around us, then it can go the other way, and our chi can become stagnant within us, and that will turn to frustration within us. We all know frustration. We all know anger. We all know some kind of malice towards others and ourselves. So it's really important to remember for good, for good health, that when you start to get frustrated and anger, think about creating something new. Think about bringing something new to yourself. Think about opening your heart and acting with great generosity of the heart. Think about a big picture. Think about riding this magical dragon that has the huge perspective, that is following the mandate of heaven for a really, fun, laughing, energetic, deep, wonderful year. Wonderful year of newness and change. Oh, thank you so much for allowing me to share, and I hope you have a really beautiful ride with the dragon. So much love to all of you.
Thank you so much, Anastacia. Maybe you can stop sharing your document so we can see you. Yes, thank you so much. A lot of very inspiring ideas that you shared with us. I especially love what you said about the heart breaking, so that we can actually feel our heart, and the layers, the gateways opening, so we can come in touch with what really can live in us and through us. And the invitation of flying with the dragon and the creativity, very key. I've witnessed that many times, the healing power of art, of creativity, on different ways of creativity, and how that channels whatever energies flowing through us, and can really uplift us and show us what we want to dedicate ourselves more to. And the opposite of not letting that creative energy flow, the frustration and the blockage that brings, and the aggression. But it would be great if you spoke a little bit more about the star people making their presence known more during this year of the dragon.
Well, for me, I mean, I have to, kind of say my own personal experience of star people. Happened very young for me, and it didn't even happen. I think I was probably in my early teens, and I used to like to go. I was one of those teenagers, and I think many teenagers come into a point where they like to sleep a lot. And we lived in Southern California. We had a wonderful orange tree in the backyard. And I would take a blanket and I would go in the afternoon on the weekend, and I would sleep under this orange tree. And I would lay there and I would just have this feeling of I would be looking through the tree up into the sky before I went to sleep. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm waiting for something to come from the sky to acknowledge me in some way. And I don't know, I just always thought it was like something like, outer space people at that time is what we called them, and knew them as coming. And I remember that so distinctly. And then, I just completely forgot about it. And then the crop circles started happening. That was then again, a real introduction back to, oh, remember that? So from that point on, I mean, you can find so much information about You know, one of the things I want to say about this is there'll be this year, there'll be lots of people, the reality, because of the dragon, because of the magical dragon, reality will get so, you'll be really unsure of what's real. That's all I can say. Reality will become very, just like we are right now. We'll be very unsure of what's real, you know?
The lines will be blurred.
Well, exactly. I mean, the lines, I mean, what's real? Here we are. I'm feeling pretty darn real. And there ain't a soul in the room. I'm pretty darn connected. And there's not anybody here but me in human body that I can see. And I feel very much like there's this whole group that I can't see is here.
And there is.
Yeah. So we really need to be able to, that's why I was thinking, well, it will just be a good year for you guys to just make it like it's, you know, but I don't even know if that will ever be. I don't know if ever we'll be back to what we used to think that was real. I'm not sure it's ever going to be the same in some way. So I don't know. I don't know about. You know, they haven't really called me up and said, look, you know, or come in some kind of way that you would come to me. They haven't even sent me a Zoom link, to tell you the truth. But in my life, it's so obvious that there is something. There are some things, and there are beings. There are some kind of sentient things that have knowledge of something that we want, that we need, and I believe that will help us to make this transition from where that something that we really don't want, something that so many people really don't want this anymore, to a place that it isn't there anymore. It isn't like that anymore.
Thank you. I think this is a good time, Jim, to bring you in on this particular topic.
I was hoping you'd do that.
Thank you, Anastasia, very, very much. And just to comment on your indication of awareness of the star people and the star beings, and that there are intelligences in the invisible realm that make their presence felt in our lives in sometimes gossamer ways. You know, I've been working here in Washington on the extraterrestrial issue, and part of the group that is in some ways midwifing into global public reality the facts around the extraterrestrial presence on planet Earth. So it is my hope that what you experience as a child becomes more and more real to people in a world where fake news and all kinds of manipulations of information are taking place. What humanity needs is an encounter with a transcendental reality that is so incontrovertible that in the midst of all the manipulation of information and reality, we can hold on to the new truth with the same urgency and the same strength that people have responded to the numinous in times past, on the basis of which new spirituality and new religions have emerged. That's what I think is really possible with the star beings. A whole new, incontrovertibly true reality that can't be manipulated or denied.
Oh, okay. Okay, yes. Yes. I don't even know how to respond to that, but yes.
Well,
Oh
you
my.
know what, I wanted to also just comment because I think it's part of this. You know, I've been delivering a couple of lectures on Nietzsche's great work, Thus Sprach Zarathustra, which is one of my favorite books in all of the Western literary tradition. And what Nietzsche says is that at the heart of the Übermensch, the Superman, is this transition between the camel, the old world, the lion, the courage of breaking through to the new, and the child, which spends their time in laughing and playing and dancing and the exuberance of the spirit. And so I think it's a powerful thing that I'm taking in from what you say in the midst of my grief and concern, as everybody knows about the current world situation, that actually what's the most deeply therapeutic and also one of the things that's the most deeply true about the spiritual process is that as our heart breaks with grief, we also need to sing and play and dance in a spirit of limitless generosity. I was struck that the dragon's bringing in limitless generosity as a counterpoint to the tragedy that we witness on the anvil of history. So anyway, I just wanted to note that and invite you to make any additional comments.
Wow. Well, really nice meeting you.
Similarly.
Wow, it was yes, and all I can say is this: I truly think that from of my whole life, from the idea of from the idea and the experience of the plants and the message that comes through what you're talking about, the star people, through plants. Yeah. And Chinese herbal medicine is where I sort of began my Chinese story, to all the way to what I spoke about of the psychedelic plants, to the crop circles, to these ways that are magic and you really can't see, but this idea of holding on to it. These are all just little tastes of what I believe that you spoke of and spoke to. That we would actually shift, not taste it and walk away from it. And I think some of these, my experience of these medicines very recently are that there are, I don't know. I don't know if the space people are in the medicines, but they're somehow connected in some way. They are changing my mind. I like this idea. So something in my mind is changing that is going to allow for this to happen. What you're talking about, where we can hold this, and part of the healing and the breaking of the heart, and that has to happen. And we just, I don't know why we don't, I don't know. Okay, that whole thing, I don't know. But we avoid it. We don't want it. Yet it has to get so drastic that it breaks our own personal life open. And that begins the microcosm, the macrocosm, the reflection that the Greek philosophers spoke of.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's true what they say. It's true what they said. And to me, this has been a life experience of that, of that reflection. And, but yes. And just as they sing, the Palestinians sing, You know, we are here and we are staying. We are free. This newness, we will, no matter how many of our children you kill, we will come. We will continue. We will continue. The laughing child. And here we are at this and for me, being a person of, in the water element, I would say, a person of wisdom, meaning, you know, the transformation, you know, is just right on the other side of my, I don't know, shoulder here, you know, of my own letting go, of my own heartbreak, of this disillusionment of this body. When I think about that, I think this has been my life.
Mhm.
Of being the dragon. I'm the water dragon, so it's a little bit morbid for me. And here the wood dragon is saying, lighten up. In the fucking end, you get a year of the wood dragon and lighten up and laugh. You know, carry that wisdom with you. Ride that laughing dragon.
Very good point.
Yeah. We can
Thank
all.
you.
Yeah.
And you know, I think you're right about the resonance between the plant medicine and the star people, because I think they're both on the same frequency. So the illumination through the plants allows one's frequency to rise to the level where you can start to communicate with these other beings, just like learning the mother tongue, you know, learning how to commune intelligibly with your pets, your cat, your dog, enables you to have ET communication. It's not that they're different. We just need to elevate the doors of perception
Yes.
high enough for us to be able to welcome them in because we've learned how to speak their language. So the onus is on us humans to learn that language of nature, because the star people and the extraterrestrials are nature.
That's exactly right. And
Yeah. Good
it's
stuff.
on this extraterrestrial thing that we live on. That's this an intelligent, you know, it's an intelligent, mother that sustains us. Yeah. An intelligent mother that sustains us. And really, if we all decided we are going to save the earth, there will, when will it get to that point? Maybe it is getting to that point now, where she's saying, you have to come together. You have to open in your hearts to each other. You know?
Well, I mean, to that point, I mean,
you see that it is that.
Yeah. You know, that we've been showing the Kogi prophecy that was issued this last November, December, saying that time is up. The day of reckoning is here, and humanity has until the solstice of 2024 in June to stand with the mother, because the mother is then going to proceed to do what she must to restore her own equilibrium. And that's one reason, everyone, why it's so important, if you can, to come to Teotihuacán, because we're going to be there at the solstice, you know, at the pyramid of the sun and the pyramid of the moon, which is one of the most potent power spots in the entire world, to stand with people all over the world that are taking very seriously what Anastacia just said. The earth is speaking to us. The star people are speaking to us. Nature is speaking to us. The entheogens are speaking to us, that we've got to now focus on standing with the mother. And we're going to be doing more presentations on Humanity Rising to encourage people to really intentionally make pilgrimage around the solstice to a power spot. If you don't want to come to Teotihuacán, we can create power spots anywhere or go to local power spots. We happen to be focusing through the Chartres Academy on Teotihuacán, as we do each year in Chartres. But the cosmos is speaking to us. The heavens are descending, the earth is rising, and the human heart is being addressed. That's the point. And there's something profound happening around the solstice in a few months' time. So thank you for bringing that up. And this might be a good point, Banafsheh, for you to round us out and give us our benediction.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Anastasia. Thank you, Jim. As our world continues to burn from greed and the dying patriarchal drive for dominance and power that is ruthlessly taking the lives of thousands of innocent people, with broken hearts, we turn to you, Great Mother. We turn to you and we vow to dedicate ourselves to raising our frequency to love, despite all the horror, and maintain that frequency, nurturing the sanctuary of our heart so it can become a garden amidst the flames, as the great mystic Ibn Arabi said, so we can be a refuge to those who are unsettled, and harness the energy, the expansive energy of the dragon to expand love with all who are doing this same work of expanding love to the extent that it dissolves the hate, the aggression, and the discord, awakening us to the truth that there is only one flesh that we can wound, and it is our own. Thank you so much, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day to you in advance. And we will see you next month. We will see you in March, the second Sunday of March.
Thank you, Banafsheh. Thank you, Anastasia. And happy Year of the Dragon, everyone. And happy Valentine's.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.